enormous shadow erupted from the wilderness. Real Bigfoot, caught on trail cam footage that instantly horrified stunned experts worldwide.
The creature's colossal frame moves with a terrifying grace, its long arms swinging like weighted pendulums through the trees, leaving no sound, no trace, no logical explanation. Scientists analyzing the frames reported tremors in their voices as they admitted nothing in the fossil record mirrors this monstrous design. Every pixel screams authenticity, every motion defies deception, and every second pulls you deeper into the unknown. Fear rises every frame.
Before we dive into the evidence, don't forget to like and subscribe now.
Shot in Bluff Creek during a cold afternoon in 1967, stabilized from a 60mm reel by two riders who swore the figure wasn't visible to the naked eye until playback. This footage became the moment everything changed. A dark mass shifts left across the riverbed, caught on camera. Long arms swing past the knees, filmed in a strange, heavy rhythm. Its outline flickers in the glare, scanned through dust, sun, and motion blur. Experts watched frame by frame and admitted scientists shocked because the creature, standing perhaps 2.3 to 3 meters tall, shoulders 40–70% broader than any human, moves with an eerie precision, each step landing heavy as a buffalo, yet soft as a stalking cat. And the thick, dark hair clinging in wet clumps reveals flashes of gray or earth-brown skin beneath, echoing old tribal notes of skookum, the silent watcher said to appear only where the forest meets broken stone and river ruins, as if adapted over millennia to vanish between light and shadow like a refrigerator-sized predator gliding smoother than an NFL running back. If something that massive chooses when to appear on film, what else has it chosen not to show us? Deep in the Pacific Northwest in late summer 2021, a hiker's phone camera accidentally captured something stepping from behind a fractured cedar trunk while he was recording moss growth for a nature vlog. A massive silhouette leans forward. On camera, dark, wet fur hangs in ropes, filmed swaying with each breath. Long arms scan through the underbrush, caught on the lens like a shadow folding open. Researchers replayed the footage and admitted scientists shocked because the figure stands somewhere between 2.4 and 3.1 meters tall, with shoulders 60% broader than any known primate, moving with a predatory smoothness, heavy like a bull bison, yet silent like a hunting cat. And the matted dark coat reveals flashes of gray-brown skin beneath, while the posture, build, and uncanny stillness echo centuries-old accounts of the skookum, a forest guardian described by indigenous tribes as a towering presence that emerges only when the woods fall unnaturally quiet, perhaps suggesting an evolutionary line adapted for stealth, cold rain density, and low-frequency communication. With strength comparable to a refrigerator-sized linebacker, gliding through trees effortlessly. If something that large can stand this close without breaking a single twig, what else is waiting just beyond the tree line? Recorded in Utah's Zion National Park in early spring 2025 by two hikers testing a new phone stabilizer, this footage captured a towering figure crossing the clearing before either of them realized what the camera had seen. A bulky silhouette shifts between branches, caught on camera. Long arms hang past the knees, filmed against pale brush. The head tilts slightly, scanned through layers of tangled limbs and dust. Analysts replayed the scene at different speeds and admitted scientists shocked because the creature appears between 2.3 and 3 meters tall, with shoulders nearly 70% broader than a human frame, draped in thick, dark fur that clumps like rain-soaked rope, and its movement, slow but unnervingly smooth, resembles something evolutionarily built for stealth, with steps heavy like a bison but precise like a stalking cat, while the earth-brown skin, glimpsed beneath, matches oral histories of the Wendigo in northern tribes, a towering forest giant described as silent, long-armed, and able to appear in places where sound dies suddenly, suggesting a lineage adapted for cold, hunger, and shadow. If such a massive shape can drift through open daylight without alerting the hikers standing meters away, what is moving unseen when the forest turns silent? In a remote corner of northern Montana during a silent frost morning in 2024, a motion-triggered trail cam registered movement at a shelter site moments before the rangers arrived. Branches snap once on camera. A towering outline shifts behind tangled timber, caught on the sensor. Long arms drag across broken limbs, filmed in a single unsettling sweep. Footage analysts later admitted scientists shocked because whatever stands behind the fallen tree appears to reach between 2.2 and 3.1 meters, with shoulders expanding wider than a freezer wall in a Texas meat locker, and the dense, rain-dark fur, clumped like soaked rope, moves with a quietness completely incompatible with its enormous mass, suggesting an evolutionary pathway where bone density, muscle fiber distribution, and low-frequency breathing patterns are adapted for stealth in deep conifer forests, much like accounts of the skookum, a legendary being described by indigenous hunters as a silent engineer of shelter piles, using stacked branches as both camouflage and communication markers across generations of unseen survival. If something this large can manipulate an entire barricade of timber without leaving a single clear footprint, what kind of intelligence is shaping the forest when no humans are watching? In a remote clearing on Prince Edward Island in June 2001, a family camcorder meant to film a casual walk captured a fleeing figure seconds before something enormous appeared at the tree line behind him. Grass parts violently on camera. A dark shape moves where no one believed anything stood. Branches twitch in the background, filmed without wind. When investigators replayed the tape years later, scientists shocked noted a secondary silhouette. Tall, broad, and partially concealed, showing proportions unlike any documented animal. Height estimated between 2.3 and 3 meters, shoulders nearly 50% wider than a human's, arms long enough to reach past the thigh line, and the heavy, thick fur appearing to cling in wet clumps as though saturated by marsh humidity, suggesting an evolutionary specialization for cold bogs and dense woodland acoustics, much like the ancient skookum tales of the Mi'kmaq, describing a massive silent presence that lingered at the edge of meadows, watching the open ground before crossing it only under absolute necessity, moving with a refrigerator-sized torso, but the quiet precision of an NFL sprinter unspooling through tall grass. If a creature that large waits until someone runs before revealing itself, what instinct, predatory or territorial, was triggered in that moment? In a dense subtropical forest in late 2003, a discarded handheld camera, found by hunters days later, contained a single corrupted clip showing a tall figure emerging from deep foliage moments before the recording cut off. Light flickers over a still shape on camera. A lean, towering outline shifts once, caught on the edge of the frame. Long arms hang low, filmed through layers of blurred green and shadow. Forensic analysts reviewing the digital artifact reported scientists shocked, noting that despite the distortion, the subject's proportions appear far beyond human range, possibly 2.4 to 3 meters tall, with shoulders heavily broadened and limbs extended past normal anatomical ratios, and patches of thick, dark fur visible between the overexposed highlights, suggesting an organism adapted for heat, moisture, and silent movement, reminiscent of Orang Pendek legends from Sumatra, describing a lithe, long-armed forest entity capable of standing upright, yet disappearing between trees with uncanny speed, implying an evolutionary branch balancing arboreal strength and ground-based stalking, with musculature compact like a coiled wrestler, but movement smooth as an NFL wide receiver slipping through defenders. If this figure was aware of the camera before the humans even realized it was there, how long had it been tracking the person holding it? Deep in the backcountry of British Columbia, in early autumn 2019, a hidden stationary camera, wedged between two rotting logs, unexpectedly recorded a massive face leaning into frame as if inspecting the lens itself. A heavy brow eclipses the light on camera. Thick fur shifts against broken bark, caught on the edge of focus. Slow blinking eyes reflect dim gold, filmed through dust and branches. When researchers slowed the footage to 1/8 speed, scientists shocked noted details impossible to ignore. The creature's facial proportions suggest a height between 2.5 and 3.1 meters. The skin beneath the dense dark hair revealing a gray earth texture like weathered stone, nostrils flaring wide as if sampling the air, and the jawline heavy enough to imply crushing force. Yet the creature's stillness, absolute, controlled, resembles descriptions of the Wendigo in northern folklore. A silent forest sentinel, known for leaning close to travelers without ever stepping fully into view, its power rooted not in speed but in breath, patience, and an uncanny ability to remain undetected despite refrigerator-sized mass and arms that hang well below the ribcage. If it willingly approached a camera this closely, calm and unafraid, what did it assume was watching from behind the lens? On a humid morning in rural Michigan in late July 2021, a fisherman reviewing drone footage of the Cass River noticed an upright figure wading across the current while carrying something small against its chest. Ripples form in a perfect line on camera. A tall shape pushes through the water, caught mid-stride. Reddish fur glints in sunlight, filmed against the mirrored surface. When wildlife analysts examined the brief 4.7-second clip, scientists shocked remarked on the proportions. An estimated 2.3 to 3 meters in height, shoulders nearly 50% broader than a human's, and arms extending well below the waist. Even while holding a compact, dark bundle shaped like an infant, the creature's movements remained stable, controlled, and unnervingly silent for something displacing that much water. Thick fur clumps in wet ropes, revealing earth-brown skin beneath, suggesting adaptations for insulation and buoyancy, while the slow, deliberate gait echoes field notes from skunk ape sightings in the southeastern wetlands. An entity said to traverse rivers effortlessly, using submerged channels as hidden travel routes, its bulk comparable to an old refrigerator, but its motion smooth as an NFL fullback gliding through defenders. If it carries its young across rivers in broad daylight, how many unseen crossings happen under fog, rain, and moonless nights? In the frozen backwoods of northern Siberia in February 2016, a mountaineer's helmet camera, left running after he dropped it into the snow, captured a pale, towering figure lifting itself over a fallen tree with eerie calm. Snow depresses without sound, on camera. A long white limb sweeps aside branches, caught in a single motion. A massive torso rises slowly, filmed through frost haze. Reviewing the footage frame by frame, analysts admitted scientists shocked as proportions defied every known Arctic animal. Height likely 2.3, 3.1 meters, shoulders extending wider than a man's by 70%, fur long and ice-matted like braided frost rope, and skin glimpsed beneath tinted an unnatural gray-bone shade. The creature's movement, slow, upward, deliberate, resembles an evolutionary hybrid built for deep cold, conserving heat as it climbs terrain with the silent precision of a stalking lynx, but the mass of a 1990s refrigerator gliding like an NFL tight end over frozen debris. The unusual whiteness conjures comparisons to Yeti Chronicle fragments, where pale giants moved only when blizzards masked their motion, suggesting an ancient lineage engineered for invisibility against a winter world. If something so huge can rise silently from the snow only meters from a dropped camera, how often has it watched travelers while remaining completely unseen? Late afternoon, on an isolated Alaskan road in December 2024, a dashcam from a passing couple recorded two enormous shapes colliding in the middle of the lane. So abruptly, the couple thought it was a landslide until the figures moved. A dark arm swings wide, on camera. Fur bursts outward from impact, caught against the windshield. Snow explodes under massive feet, filmed in violent blur. When specialists dissected the footage, scientists stunned noted details that should not coexist. The creature grappling in the foreground stands easily 2.53 meters tall, shoulders dense and bull-shaped, fur thick and wet from melting frost, the chest rising with deep wind-mixed breaths, while the opponent appears slightly shorter but faster, limbs long and flexible like a primate fueled by raw torque. Every impact hits with buffalo weight, but lands as quietly as a stalking predator, a contradiction echoing Wendigo conflict legends describing forest titans battling with uncanny silence. Bone structure visible beneath the fur suggests terrifying leverage power, as though engineered for both brute force and silent takedown, an evolutionary dead end or beginning, hidden in boreal wilderness. If two giants can fight in open daylight on a public road, how many confrontations occur deeper in the wild where no camera exists to witness them? On a storm-warm dusk in rural Arkansas in 2025, a doorbell cam activated itself before the homeowner even approached the door, recording a massive, fur-covered shape pounding softly on the frame with abnormal precision. Two fists rise in rhythmic taps on camera. Wide shoulders blot out the porch light, caught mid-lift. Hair ripples across the chest, filmed in warped fisheye view. Technicians examining the footage later admitted scientists startled, noting the creature's dimensions: nearly 2.53 meters tall, arms far exceeding human reach, fur dense and rain damp, clinging to a body shaped like a freight refrigerator, yet moving with deliberate control. The subtle head tilt and measured breathing imply an intelligence evaluating the structure, not attacking it, echoing archival skookum accounts describing forest giants testing boundaries with soundless knocks, gauging who or what resides inside before deciding to leave or break through. The calmness in its stance is more chilling than violence, suggesting a species adapted to assessing threats with near-silent communication patterns. If something that enormous knows exactly where the doorbell camera is, why does it tap instead of smash? In the snowy woods of Wyoming on January 22, 2025, a family's indoor security cam recorded the precise moment a towering, fur-heavy figure burst through a sliding glass door as if the barrier were made of paper. Shards erupt inward, on camera. A huge arm sweeps aside splinters, caught in violent blur. A heavy silhouette steps over glass, filmed against sunlight glare. When specialists slowed the footage, scientists unsettled observed how the creature's biomechanics defied typical primate behavior. Its shoulders expand nearly 70% wider than a man's, arms extend well past the thighs, and despite the explosive entry, its footfalls remain eerily cushioned, like buffalo force delivered with feline stealth. Frosted brown fur hangs in slick ropes while the torso rolls forward with muscular stability, reminiscent of Wendigo lore, in which cold-born giants breached shelters not out of aggression but curiosity, driven by deep forest hunger cycles and territorial patterns. If it opened a sealed door with such careful force, what kept it from tearing the entire cabin apart? Early morning fog settled across rural West Virginia in 2023 when hikers reviewing handheld footage noticed a tall, silent figure gliding between bare trees, something their eyes missed in the moment. A long arm swings low, on camera, bare branches slice across its outline, caught in drifting haze. Its silhouette barely touches the ground, filmed in slow sway. Analysis of the recording made scientists uneasy. Height approximated at 2.33 meters, shoulders disproportionately broad, gait impossibly smooth for something with bulk comparable to a vintage freezer chest. Thick brown fur clings to the limbs, shifting like moss in windless air, and glimpses of gray earth-toned skin beneath matched skookum oral accounts about a ridgewalker that travels without sound, relying on elongated tendons and redundant muscle fibers adapted for steep terrain. Its movement style, slight torso lean, arms penduluming past the knees, resembles something evolved to track quietly from elevation rather than chase. If it can pace beside hikers without snapping a twig, how many times has it walked parallel to them unnoticed? In a forgotten tract of Colorado wilderness in autumn 1998, an old camcorder later restored by archivists revealed a sepia-toned figure standing motionless among dead aspens, as if waiting for the operator to turn away. Wind shakes empty branches on camera. A still shape absorbs the light, caught at the forest edge. No footstep, no breath, filmed in eerie, still-frame calm. Experts studying the degraded tape admitted scientists perplexed. Though the grainy footage distorts features, the proportions remain unmistakable. Over 2.4 meters tall, shoulders enlarged beyond human geometry, arms long enough to brush fallen needles without bending. The creature's absolute stillness contradicts typical animal vigilance. Instead, it mirrors the mythic behavior of ancient skookum guardians described in Ute legends. Forest giants that freeze entirely, blending into trunks until a traveler's back is turned. Evolutionary speculation suggests advanced mimicry instincts honed over millennia, using inert posture to avoid detection rather than speed. If it can become indistinguishable from a tree by simply choosing not to move, how many trees have watched hikers without them knowing? On a warm July evening in rural Louisiana in 2021, a backyard gathering turned chaotic when a tall, red-coated figure erupted from behind oak trunks, sprinting toward a seated group before vanishing as abruptly as it appeared. Chairs scraped the ground on camera. A flash of red fur darts forward, caught between trees. People scatter in shock, filmed in trembling handheld panic. When investigators stabilized the footage, scientists unnerved noted the creature's speed-to-mass ratio. Height likely, 2.8 meters, arms exaggeratedly long, shoulders broad enough to displace brush in a single passing motion. But what alarmed analysts was its attack trajectory. No roar, no warning, just a silent, explosive dash reminiscent of predatory biomechanics. The vivid reddish fur, rare among reported sightings, drew comparisons to orang pendek accounts from Sumatra, where russet-toned forest giants emerged suddenly and retreated before observers could process them, possibly indicating a territorial bluff display rather than intent to harm. If it can cover 10 meters in the time a human lifts their head, what chance would anyone have if it truly meant to strike? Shot in northern Wisconsin at 02:13 a.m. on July 31, 2025, a trail camera meant to track deer migration captured a massive figure walking directly toward the lens with unsettling confidence. Moonlight cuts across its chest, on camera. Branches tremble behind it, caught without wind. Its massive frame fills the infrared view, filmed in stark monochrome. Experts reviewing the footage confess scientists shaken. The creature displays proportions beyond known fauna. Height approximated at 3.1 meters, chest barrel-like, arms long enough to drag at thigh level, and fur thick, dark, and clumped as if soaked in forest humidity. What disturbed analysts most was the forward approach. Not wandering, not startled, but marching with a deliberate trajectory toward the device, head dipping lower as if evaluating the mechanism. Similar behavior appears in ancient Skookum accounts describing nocturnal forest judges that moved silently through moonlit paths, inspecting scents and territories with uncanny precision, suggesting a survival lineage adapted for low-light dominance and soundless travel. If this giant approached the camera knowingly, not accidentally, what was it planning to do once the lens went dark? In rural South Alabama on November 21, 2025, a roadside work crew reviewing their night shift CCTV discovered a blurred, towering silhouette leaping from a wooded incline straight into the bucket of a parked excavator. Metal jolts violently on camera. A huge limb arcs downward, caught in a freeze-bright flash. Workers dive for cover, filmed in harsh industrial light. Technicians studying the footage admitted scientists agitated. The shape's momentum and mass defy conventional biomechanics. Its body appears nearly 3 meters tall, shoulders like compressed stone slabs, arms whipping with explosive but controlled torque. The creature's fur, dark, heavy, and wet, suggests swamp adaptation, while its leap trajectory resembles a predator's ambush rather than random aggression. This behavior echoes regional skunk ape lore, where towering, long-limbed beings interfered with human machinery not from anger, but because vibrating engines disrupted their migratory paths. The absence of vocalization is notable. The strike lands with buffalo force, yet silence comparable to a stalking cougar, an evolutionarily improbable combination. If a creature can strike heavy machinery without fear or hesitation, what boundary did the workers unknowingly cross that night? Captured in rural Oklahoma in early winter 2025, a handheld phone recording shows a bulky, low-shouldered figure trudging through an open field with a rolling gait unlike typical primates. Grass folds in slow waves, on camera. Wide hips swing side to side, caught in rhythmic shift. The forest line stays unnervingly still, filmed behind its path. Researchers reviewing this peculiar footage admitted scientists puzzled. The entity's proportions are atypical, even among alleged Sasquatch sightings. Torso extremely round, height between 2.3 and 2.8 meters, limbs thick and powerful like compact hydraulic pistons. The long arms hanging past the knees remain consistent with Bigfoot anatomical patterns, yet the waddling motion suggests a creature carrying substantial internal mass or winter reserves. Its fur appears dense and brown, clumped at the sides like insulation layers used by cold-adapted megafauna. Indigenous parallels link it to Skookum accounts of winter giants, slow-moving but immensely strong, storing energy for sudden bursts of speed when threatened. If this heavy shape can move with such deceptive calm, what would its sprint look like when provoked? Recorded in the Louisiana wetlands in early 2025, a fisherman's stabilized clip shows a tall, long-armed creature stepping into shallow muck as a dark shape, likely an alligator, thrashes inches away. Muddy water erupts upward on camera, A gray-furred limb pulls back fast, caught mid-splash. Mist coils around its legs, filmed in pale morning light. Biologists reviewing the footage admitted scientists rattled. The creature appears to maintain balance despite unstable footing, implying bone density and tendon strength far exceeding known mammals. Estimated at 2.43 meters tall, it exhibits traits associated with the skunk ape. Elongated arms, swamp-matted fur, and earth-brown skin glimpsed beneath wet clumps. The creature's defensive stance resembles territorial wildlife behavior, not random aggression. Its weight distribution shifts like a wrestler bracing for impact, yet its footfalls remain soft, dispersing mud without deep sinking. Evolutionarily, such mechanics imply adaptation for wetland survival. Floating gait, powerful grip, controlled leverage. If it can stand firm against an apex predator in waist-deep mud, what does it hunt when it is the one initiating the attack? On a rain-slick highway in northern Canada, in late 2024, a driver's dashcam captured a towering figure wrestling a full-grown moose in the center of the lane, holding the animal upright as if studying it. Rain streaks sideways on camera. The moose thrashes violently, caught mid-lurch. A massive silhouette holds firm, filmed through foggy glass. Wildlife specialists reviewing the sequence admitted scientists alarmed. Moose are notoriously powerful, yet the creature restrains it with one arm while the other steadies the animal's flank. The figure measures an estimated 2.8 to 3.1 meters, shoulders massively broad, arms disproportionately long, hands nearly reaching the knees. Dark soaked fur clings to an earth-toned hide, and its posture displays terrifying leverage efficiency. This behavioral pattern matches rare skookum folklore, where forest giants evaluate animals rather than kill them, suggesting a higher cognitive function or territorial assessment. Its stance is neither predatory nor fearful, but analytical. If it can overpower a moose with calm, measured strength, what calculation was it making in the rain? The night vision footage drenches the entire landscape in an eerie green haze, flattening colors and sharpening movement. Through that filter, a towering humanoid shape strides into view. Broad shoulders, impossibly long arms, and eyes reflecting the infrared light like two pale embers. It doesn't move like a person or a known animal. Its steps are slow, deliberate, almost as if it knows it's being watched and simply doesn't care. But what sends the unease deeper is what follows behind it. Two much smaller figures, waddling in uncertain sync, trail close to its massive legs. They don't run, don't scatter, don't try to hide. Instead, they seem to cling to the large figure's path as if it were a guardian. At moments, their silhouettes briefly resemble children bundled in fur, but then they tilt their heads or shift weight in ways that feel distinctly non-human. The tall figure pauses once, turning partially toward them. A protective gesture, a warning, or simply an accidental shift captured by the lens? The footage ends before any conclusion can be drawn, leaving viewers trapped between fascination and discomfort. It's not just the creature, it's the implication of a family unit, something social, structured, and entirely unknown. This clip opens in a fog-softened forest where every tree trunk rises like a pillar in a silent cathedral. Light bleeds through branches, catching on drifting ash or pollen, but the camera focuses on a single figure standing unnervingly still between two trees. It wears a dark mass of fur that absorbs sunlight rather than reflecting it, turning the shape into a mobile void. At first glance, it might be a person in heavy gear, but then it shifts, slowly, smoothly, without any of the awkward weight a costume would impose. Its arms hang far past where a human elbow should reach. Its gait, when it finally steps forward, is heavy yet fluid, like a creature built for endurance, not sprinting. There's an odd moment where it seems to test the watcher. It leans slightly sideways behind a trunk, then leans back, almost playfully, as if checking whether the camera operator will flinch. But the operator stays silent, and the creature resumes moving through the leaves with a hush that contradicts its size. The clip ends with it vanishing behind denser timber, not by speed, but by blending. A shadow among shadows. The unsettling part isn't its appearance. It's the sense that it noticed the camera and chose not to care. The scene bursts into focus under a dense blanket of fog. A forest road glistens with wet mud, and visibility is barely a few meters ahead. Through the haze, something massive lunges sideways, a bulky creature locked in a chaotic struggle with what appears to be a bear. Their motions are wild yet powerful, like two titans battling instinctively rather than strategically. The humanoid form overwhelms expectations. Its arms swing with surprising precision, as if trying to redirect the bear instead of simply fending it off. Meanwhile, the bear rears, swipes, and attempts to push its opponent back toward the ditch. Mud flies, silhouettes blur, and the camera catches only fragmented bursts of the altercation. Neither creature vocalizes, no roars, no growls, just the wet thump of bodies colliding, and that silence might be the most disturbing part. Eventually, the humanoid forcefully shoves the bear away and the animal retreats into the forest. The larger figure then stands still on the shoulder of the road, chest expanding in slow breaths, almost contemplative. Before the camera can zoom or focus, it turns and vanishes into the trees with a deliberate slowness that contradicts the violent energy from seconds earlier. The encounter feels staged by nature itself, raw, abrupt, and unsatisfyingly unresolved. The footage begins on a rainy morning. The road is slick with puddles, and a parked SUV sits quietly under drooping pine branches. Without warning, a hulking figure emerges from the tree line and approaches the vehicle with a shockingly casual manner. Not sneaking, not rushing, but walking as though it has every right to be there. It reaches the car door, not with brute force, but with curiosity. A massive hand, or something shaped like one, grips the handle and tugs. The motion is surprisingly delicate, almost intelligent. It tries again, adjusting its posture, leaning in as though listening for a click. The viewer expects aggression, but the creature behaves more like someone confused about how the mechanism works. Rain hits its fur in thick droplets. It breathes heavily, but not angrily. For a moment, it even looks over its shoulder, as if checking whether someone is watching. Then something spooks it. A rustle? A distant engine? It releases the handle and backs away in 2 slow steps before turning and lumbering into the forest. No theatrics, no attack. Just a strange, oddly civilized moment between the unknown and the man-made. The surreal normality of the motion is what lingers long after the clip ends. This clip is unlike any other because the creature isn't roaming, posturing, or fleeing. It's sitting, calm, intentional. Hidden among thick vegetation, the humanoid figure is crouched close to the ground, reaching forward with quiet precision. At first, the viewer assumes it's rummaging for food scraps. Then it becomes clear. It's picking mushrooms, carefully, one at a time. It examines each piece between long fingers, brushing debris away, choosing selectively before placing the mushroom into a pile beside its feet. There's no frantic energy, no animalistic tearing or aggression. Instead, the creature's motions feel almost ritualistic, like someone gathering only what is necessary. Sunlight breaks through the canopy and highlights its fur in patches. A few leaves cling to its back, suggesting it has been moving low for a while. It pauses once, tilting its head as if hearing something distant, but then returns to the task. What makes this footage so unsettling isn't the creature's appearance. It's the behavior, the deliberation, the quiet purpose. It implies intelligence, patience, and an understanding of its environment deeper than simple instinct. The video ends before we learn what it intended to do with its harvest. In the end, whether these clips reveal genuine encounters or skillful illusions, what matters most is not the certainty of the creature itself, but the curiosity it awakens in all of us. These moments, brief, shaky, imperfect, remind us that the world is still filled with shadows we don't fully understand. For every scientific explanation offered, there is a lingering sense of wonder that refuses to be silenced. We stare at these figures moving through forest fog, night vision fields, and rain-soaked roads, and something ancient stirs inside us. A reminder that humanity has always lived at the border between the known and the unknown. Maybe these scenes are just creative works of modern technology. Maybe they're deliberate hoaxes. Or just maybe they represent something far older, something watching from the edges of civilization, appearing only in fleeting glimpses when no one expects it. The mystery doesn't end when the footage stops. It continues in our minds long after the screen goes dark. It invites us to question, to imagine, to explore, and above all, to stay open to possibilities that don't fit neatly into what we think we know. So if you've enjoyed diving into these strange encounters and analyzing the unexplainable with me, don't let the journey stop here. Like this video, drop a comment with your theories, and hit subscribe so you don't miss the next chapter of mystery footage uncovered. The world is wide, the night is deep, and the next unexplained moment might already be waiting.